17. Oh no! Oh my god! Yay, a new one? About time! Oh wow! Oh my goodness! Ooh!
Sup. Under all the Moose's attempts at what I think is supposed to be sarcasm, is that we're kinda glad to be back, continuing our never-ending battle to entertain all you freaks, rage monsters, and wannabes.
But Mr. Han, they're YouTubers.
Yeah, that. Ralph is still attempting to find a way out of here, while Katie over there is counting and possibly eating sheeps right now at the moment.
Apples or oxygen?
So I, Mr. Han, will be running this show for the time being, and okay, real talk, I'm a Superman fanboy. Yeah, you heard me. I'm a fan of good old Wonder-bred Boy Scout Superman. The guy was my gateway to the interesting and sticky world of nerdom. Christopher Reeve was the face I pictured whenever I think of movie star in my youth. And his sickening optimism and his sense of hope is the smart part that helps me survive in my sad little life and hoping I see the missus once again. Ahem. Despite people saying that Batman is the cooler hero, not arguing with that, I'm always on the guy's side till the bitter end, despite the usual, he's boring or he's too powerful. Again, not arguing with that. If he was so boring, why is he still as much into the public consciousness as the Dark Knight? Say, all you modern kids, I've got a question.
Yes, Mr. Hand?
Who is Felix the Cat?
Well, I can find that out right now, mister.
Without using Google.
Oh.
Come on.
I do.
Liar! See, Felix stopped being relevant. Even if history tries, he's still that cat you happen to see at an antique shop. Superman, despite the changing times, still goes on and on with guys like Kurt Swan, Alan Moore, Dan Jurgens, John Byrne, Jeff Johns, Max Landis, Peter Tomasi, Richard Donner, and many more who always keep the big S going. And I will f***ing fight you if I can, because I am the king of rants, Mr. Hand. I don't get why people want to relate to Superman in a power level kind of way. We don't care about power levels anymore, you silly DBZ fans. I can relate to Superman. He's a person from another world visiting ours like those immigrants everyone talks about. He's an everyday guy who likes helping people and does it in a cool persona that shows other people that it's cool to be nice and help others. And he's a daddy now. He got responsibilities. He got a kid he can teach about our scary new world and gets to be part of his dad's world of cool, crazy sci-fi adventures. Or relatable emotionally. Not based on who's got the best movesets or who's the most cynical because realism. Guys, let me rock the cynicism card, okay? Okay. Now with all my personal super baggage over a guy that still needs to be defended for some reason is apparently out of the way. This Patreon is for Kai Hedgie, who paid us $5 to review an episode of Superman the Animated Series debut of Metallo in The Way of All Flesh. Oh boy, Metallo! He's like the Terminator mixed with the Kryptonite. He was a thing before Terminator was the coolest. Don't ruin cool, please. Since this was just a single episode we'll be reviewing off of, it does give me and the Moose time to add something more to this episode by just, well, talk about the history of Metallo? Yeah, that's it.
Wow. Took you long enough to move on to the actual subject of the thing you're going to be reviewing.
Well, we did a good gosh darn job wasting everyone's time praising Superman for the past few minutes.
How dare you? Metallo has an interesting history. There's not one but 6 Metallos. 3 of them are just remakes of the same guy. The very first Golden Age Metallo debuted on World's Finest Comics #6. Yet now, the comic series that'll be forever known as the OG clickbait of comic covers.
Look, kids, it's Batman and Superman together for the first time in history. Isn't that totally awesome? Well, it would be, except they're totally separate stories. That's like taking a piece of cake, putting a carrot on top of it, and calling it carrot cake. It's just depressing. That was the worst birthday party ever. Damn it, Mom, I'll never forgive you.
Yeah, with other super guys like Aquaman. Woohoo! The original Zatara. Woohoo! The Star-Spangled Kid. Woohoo! Drafty? So Superman was framed by Proto-Iron Man over here, who calls himself Metallo with 1 L, by the way. Just some mad scientist juiced up with some strength serum and wearing an armored suit. And since kryptonite isn't a thing yet in the comics, unless you count the radio show, and this is Golden Age Superman we're talking about here, he actually has a fight on his hands.
A robot?
Superman, eh? It was fated that we should meet. I am Metallo.
I'm ringing down the curtain on your career of crime.
I see. An optimist.
What on?
Just indulging in my daily exercise.
His strength is equal to my own. Not running out on a fight.
No, just going to make it more interesting. My apologies, Captain, but I want that torpedo. From me to you, with love.
Just a sentimental cuss, eh? God, he took advantage of the opportunity to make a getaway.
Pretty much, this Metallo puts the city into ransom, only for Lois to find his lair with Superman not far behind.
Burrowing down to the earth was simple, but giving you criminals the fate you deserve will be even easier.
Stop him! Your lives depend on it!
And after a long battle in the middle of a volcano, Superman straight up punches Metallo into the magma like a brazen bull, look it up, leaving him to die with Superman and Lois going about their usual business.
Tricked by the man of tomorrow. But I won't forget, and in our next encounter, he'll pay for it.
So Golden Age Metallo comes back in Superman Family number 217 and use some red beam thingamabooby to drop Superman's powers from his top strength to as low as his early day powers. Realizing this after Superman got his ass kicked by Metallo, he and Lois go into his Fortress of Solitude, and Superman goes into a rocky train montage and got back to his full power. He then 1-2-3 punch and downs Metallo, and he and Lois live happily ever after. Or is it? Spoiler alert. Reboot! Oh. Okay, I love you, bye-bye, Golden Age. Without getting ahead of ourselves, we go back to the Silver Age, where we see another version of Metallo from Superboy number 49. This version of Metallo isn't some asshole in a suit, but a Kryptonian robot made by some asshole, I guess.
Leave here at once.
A robot? Undoubtedly the product of an advanced civilization. How did he get here? And why does he want me to leave? I'm sorry, but...
I must ask you to go. If you do not leave willingly, I will force you to. I do not desire to hurt you, but you leave me no choice. You are invulnerable. Then you must be from the destroyed planet Krypton, too.
But what do you mean, too? Are you from Krypton?
Most certainly I am. The scientists of Krypton used this asteroid for secret experiments, and they made me Metallo, to guard it against all strangers. Please, Superboy, permit me to serve you. I have longed for the day when I might see another Kryptonian. Now that it has come, let me help you.
I certainly need help.
He was a Kryptonian robot used by Superboy's people to do some experiments on an asteroid. but it was stranded for pretty much decades. Dear God. Superboy arrives to prevent the asteroid from crash landing on Earth, only to be caught in a kryptonite cloud. Convenient. And he was too weak to leave the asteroid. With the help of Metallo, who sacrificed his life by putting Superboy in a lead rocket and throws him hard enough to keep him away from the clouds, saving Superboy. But the kryptonite clouds kill the poor little robot. Oh. Because that's how robot works. Apparently being born from Krypton means you're most likely doomed to be a sickly shade of green. This story is similar to Robinson Crusoe, only sci-fi and with Superboy, with the plot being more faster paced, and we have a robot instead of a dated, possibly, racist caricature. It surprisingly ends on a bum note with Metallo's death, making this Superboy story a bit heavier than most of them in the Silver Age. And hey, you kids can enjoy a different take on Robinson Crusoe at school. Sort of. Finally, we get to see the Silver Age origin of John Corbin, the Metallo you all know. John Corbin, after murdering somebody and creating the perfect crime, has a car accident and was saved by the best medicine money can buy, being a killer cyborg. Yay!
Great Scott, I've got an all-metal body.
Correction, you've still got the human brain, but the rest of you has been rebuilt with a special metallic armor plate. Unmeltable, unshatterproof. Your new body is indestructible. Your arms are now covered with a flesh-like plastic skin. However, the fluoroscope reveals their true metallic structure.
Then I'm a kind of human robot?
No, you're the Candyman. So after establishing that his body is powered by a 24-hour uranium battery, because apparently back in the 50s, it's totally normal to hold fucking uranium barehanded and store it in cereal boxes. But before Vale could mention a much forever-lasting second power source, they got barricaded by a massive rock slide.
Corbin, help!
He had a stroke. The fear of the avalanche was too much for him. I'll go look for help. Maybe the side door isn't blocked. The door! It comes away in my hand, ripped off the hinges. Why, I've got super strength in these metal hands. I can't believe it! I'm slicing through the rock barrier with my robot body. My metallic strength is limitless. To blazes with the Professor! I only regret I couldn't learn what the second energizing element is.
So Corbin gets a job at the Daily Planet, Daily Bugle. I got it right. Starts robbing a lot of uranium to keep himself alive, and made Lois think that he's a suave, mustachio Superman, the Fiend. Everybody knows that all the ladies love a clean-shaven man. Wink, wink. At some point, Corbin hears about Professor Vale recovering just fine and is willing to tell a guy who just straight up leaves him to die about the second element. Oh, and by the way, you are awfully talkative for a guy who just suffered a major stroke. Good on you.
Good. You've recovered from your stroke. Look, Professor, I can't get any uranium. What was that second substance I can use? You collapsed before you could tell me.
Well, you son of a bitch. It's kryptonite. Its energy will last you forever. I have a sample in that safe.
So Corbin got the kryptonite and used it to trap Superman to get a box containing more of it at the exhibit hall, not knowing it was a prop, and just simply dies from heart failure. SpaghettiOs is all the cool kids are saying. I bet. Later in the Bronze Age, John got a brother named Roger Corbin who gets revenge on Superman for his brother's death. Even though it was his own brother's fault that he died like a total goof. And that's come from me. Me, stupid. And he'll also be forever known for wearing this hideous cyborg design, and will have that look reused in 2010's Superman Secret Origins. But hey, bitch and hover scooter.
Huh? Who are you?
You don't know me, Superman. But if it's any help, the name is Corbin. Roger Corbin. The name should be familiar to you. Perhaps you remember my brother, John.
Corbin? Yes, the name does ring a bell. But I've met you somewhere before. Yes, you were the guy at Star Labs. But you should be
dead. Obviously I'm not. You, however, shall have that particular experience very shortly.
Wait. Corbin. That was the name of... Oh my god.
Say it, Superman. That was the name of... Metallo!
Gah!
Plus, this Metallo is much more actiony than John's Metallo. And we finally get to see this Metallo use the iconic kryptonite chest beam.
After Crisis on Infinite Earths, or DC's fancy saying of reboot, we get the revamped Superman continuity starting with Man of Steel. No, none of that. Shame on you. I mean the John Byrne's The Man of Steel, where Superman isn't Silver Age levels of overpowered. The story gradually goes from the Earth adventures to a more fantastical stuff that doesn't give you a headache half of the time. Hey, I can appreciate some of the Silver Age stuff. Luthor went from mad scientist to obvious Trump joke is obvious, and of course, new takes on villains like Metallo. Good God!
He looks like an action figure. Next to the other action figure. Mr. Byrne, I know we should live it up in the 80s, but ew.
Pretty much this no-name 80s backup dancer over here is some criminal who got into a car accident and is rebuilt as a cyborg by Professor Vale.
Same thing like the other one, except less Einstein and more
ew, aliens, human safety, and fuck yeah! And like many of us in this poor guy's situation, if I wake up looking like this, I'll go up to the first living thing and, yep, there we go.
The pain is incredible. Never felt anything like it.
It's pointless to struggle, Superman. It's all over. You've had a good run, but your time's up.
My limbs feel like silly putty. My heart's pounding as if to burst.
After I was reborn, I wandered for a while. No real purpose. But then I realized my creator was right. In the wrong way. I have the power to make myself king of the world, Superman. With killing you being the best way to prove it.
Everybody run! He's gonna roll us over and make us wear ugly stripper clothing!
God help us! Before he can even kill Superman, Luthor, being Luthor, yoinks Metallo away before he gained the satisfaction, and that's it. The origin story is simple but impactful, since this is the debut of this continuity's kryptonite, with a fist to back it up. But they can do better. Segway? Segway. The Way of All Flesh is the 7th episode of Season 1 of Superman the Animated Series. The series that pretty much used the basis of John Byrne's Superman run to work off of. After the events of The Last Son of Krypton, John Corbin, voiced by Malcolm Clockwork freaking Orange McDowell, is chilling out in prison with the perks of not ratting out on his boss Luthor. He was suddenly been infected by a rare, incurable virus that will kill him, but Luthor got like a brilliant plan, you knows.
Break him out of prison, of course. And put his brain out of his infected wimpy body and put it in a
Hefty.
robot's body. They can rebuild him with their technology. Better, stronger, faster.
And the potential to go horribly wrong. For you see, how we react when your boss, who you've been completely loyal to, just puts you in a situation where your human brain is in a cold, unfeeling robot body where you can't eat, sleep, smell, and gotta try a little tenderness. Well,
it's all fake. A fraud! There's the reality. The metal behind the man. It's all I am now. It's who I am. Metallo.
Clark Magic uses star report skills to solve the mystery that leads to Corbin's change. Professor Vale, okay, Vale, we gotta stop seeing each other. You just somehow end up, works with Luthor to spice Corbin's food with a retrovirus. That sounds gross. So Corbin has no choice but to be a robot, not knowing he won't change back, and Luthor's a great big duty head.
Superman arrives and after a quick struggle, tells him about the whole deal, leading to Metallo to go after Luthor.
Don't you see he's trying to turn us against each other to save his own skin? Who knows what's in that vial?
Then why don't we test it?
Corbin, no! No!
Stop poisoning yourself! Stop poisoning yourself!
Help! Help! I can't float!
Bon voyage.
I smell instant karma. If only.
Thus goes the end of Metallo. For 8 more episodes up until his last showing in Justice League Unlimited.
This is the best origin episode, bar none. You mean something produced by Tim and Dini actually is better than the source material? Sorcery, I tells yas! Unlike the other origins where the previous Corbins either don't really care about their situation or they just go all, being a cyborg is awesome! Trust me, fellas, that sounds cool on paper, but ever heard of sensory deprivation? You know, that feeling of literally nothing? No sound, taste, touch, sight, smell, all that sweet stuff. They made those tapes you see in Stranger Things. They even have a form of torture for that. I mean, just feeling nothing for an hour or so is nerve-wracking as is. Just imagine it being permanent.
I mean, the brain is your friend. It needs these things to feel alive. Just imagine your poor brain go from here to a metal body.
Where am I? Why can't I feel anything? Where's my balls? Oh God! Where are my balls? Nothing is more worse, and I must scream. John Corbin is a mercenary, plain and simple. He might have killed, stolen, and possibly screwed over most people, but he doesn't even deserve that. It truly shows a lesser of two evils between Corbin and Luthor. Other fictional characters like Alex Murphy is in this situation, but in his case, he was shot in the head, possibly having brain damage, thus forgetting who he is, with his memories and humanity gradually coming back. Thus, his transition is somewhat better, because, you know, he was dead, quotations. The only biggest problem being that he can never see his family again. Talk about bum note. Stupid, you take over.
It shows how much Luthor cares for his people's loyalty. And like Batman, Superman can't always save everybody from lives worse than death. I I think, like Doctor Who, the point of the Cybermans are like telling us that too many cybernetic argumentation is too much of what we think is a good thing. Man, it's kind of hard trying to say smart stuff like you and Ralph can, Mr. Han.
Get away!
Thank you for tuning in for our first review in 2017. Now go enjoy Superman the Animated Series and see you next time. Bye!
Oy vey.